This is the men's room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The Grippers, the Grasshoppers, the Hip Ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
You're listening to the men's room with Miles and Thrill.
We say hello to our friends at 98.3 The Keg, rockin' Fayetteville. Arkansas, also listeners jumping on right now at, what do we got here, in beautiful New Orleans, Bayou 95.7, and at 98.9 The Rock, Kansas City's rock station. Thanks for checking out the show. Ryan Castle, Drunk in Charge, coming up to sit and spin today. 10 of rock's most politically incorrect songs, and the word has some amusing celebrity anagrams, and yes, of course, we'll drink a toast with a shot of the day and all that crap coming up as well. Our question, what were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-OLA.
I would have talked to a guy who, I guess he said his sister is 22 years old now, and even though he knows the truth, he was asked not to share with the fact that the guy, quote-unquote, in the picture, don't tell your little sister that guy is not her biological father, which he is not. He's actually her stepfather. She doesn't know different, and it's a long, convoluted tale. Well, a couple of comments came in. This guy says, my brother is 31, and he believes that my stepdad is his biological father.
Look, if his stepdad was actually the father figure in the relationship, I mean, again, back to the medical thing, I understand all that.
Sure.
But ultimately, whoever you know to be your dad, if they fulfill that role, they're your dad.
You say that, but the flip side is, but you still buy it's the reason people do Ancestry.com.
Without question.
You might know, but they still want to know more, right?
Yeah,
so, you'd want to know that much at least.
You're right.
You'd want your family to tell you that much at least. Even if your biological whoever was a horrible, terrible, if it's Charles Manson, then so be it. It doesn't mean you're Charles Manson, but if that's what it is, and I assume these people are not serial killers, so, tell them, man.
Sure.
They should at least know that much. My God.
Yeah, you're right. There's a nature-nurture element to that.
Absolutely.
But still, yeah, you should know.
But tell them.
I agree.
By the way, someone says, I hope that guy's sister doesn't listen to your show. I thought about that the entire time he was talking. And then I thought, well, if she does listen and he knows she listens, maybe this is his way of doing it.
Yeah, that's fine, too.
I don't know. But if she does listen to the show, surprise!
Hey, you win nothing.
Yay. Things are different now. Hello, Hunter. Welcome to the men's room.
Hunter.
Hola.
Hola. Hunter, what do you hunt?
Deer, elk.
Well, you live up to your name.
You really do hunt?
Yeah.
You had to, I guess. I mean, as soon as you found out what your name was all about, you're like, I guess I got to buy a rifle.
Yeah, I hunt. I go out with my stepdad and my real dad sometimes.
Okay.
And you know the difference between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So far,
like a buck and a doe.
Right.
What's the biggest buck you've ever shot?
This past year I shot a 10-point.
Get out of here. Did you drag it out of the woods by yourself, or did you put it on that back of that Polaris four-wheeler and drive home?
I had my stepdad help me drag it up to the top of the hill where the four-wheeler was.
Oh, and then you took it the rest of the way.
Yeah.
I see how this game's going. Okay. Yeah, well, Hunter, back in the day, we weren't allowed to take a shot at the deer unless you could physically drag it the hell out to where you were. So you'd make different decisions based on where and how far you went in.
Small one.
Yeah, I mean, you really did. You had to be more intelligent than just like, boom, I'm killing you. Like you had to figure out, how am I going to get this out? Now, in my hometown of my home state of West Virginia, they don't do that anymore. They drive a car into the middle of the woods, and then they just shoot whatever in the hell they can, and then Fat Jim puts it on the back of his goddamn Polaris, just like he cruises around Walmart. He drives the bitch out of the woods, and you're like, I don't know.
That's the loophole.
I know.
They said
like,
you can drag it
man.
out. Yeah.
Like, dude. Anyway, all right.
Jim said get the four-wheeler.
That's right, man. He's going to drive all these deer and drag them out of the woods. So what were you told not to do?
So about a year ago, I still live with my mom and my stepdad. I'm a senior in high school. So I was told not to take my real dad's truck and go mudding and four-wheeling with a couple of my friends.
Is it a mudding and four-wheeling truck by design?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Listen, and I think parents do know on some level, because basically as a parent, what you do is lose every day. So I think, like, you tell your kids that because you have to tell your kids that, knowing full well they're going to do exactly that. Like, you're going to tell, hey, man, don't do this. But you know deep down This is exactly what they're going to do, and they're going to do it with the exact set of friends that you said not to do it with.
So what'd you do, roll it, blow an axe, or what?
No, nothing got broke. I was totally safe about that. But, so I did that. I snuck out when my parents went to the ocean, and I snuck out of the house, didn't set off any alarms at my house, and then got the truck, and we went out to, I think, Elby it was, and went four-wheeling, and then came back, cleaned off the truck, and then...
so basically, Hunter, what you're saying is you got away with... They told you not to take
I'm saying you didn't get away with it.
You got away with it, and nothing bad happened.
About a month or two later,
okay,
they found out.
What, was there like some red clay mud underneath a wheel well or something weird?
Yeah, they found like a little chunk of dirt.
This is not indigenous to our county.
Man, listen, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's that when we become parents, we become
private detectives.
We observe more, or that when we're kids, which I think is more likely, it's impossible to cover all your bases. My parents went out of town. The one thing they told me, I think I was 17 or 18, and this is a party where I kidnapped someone and all that, but the one thing they said was, hey, man, we're going for a week or 2 weeks, whatever it was, but we know you're 17. We know your friends, and your friends are pretty decent, but do not throw a party in our house. You can have some people over and all, but don't throw a party.
There's no such thing.
Once you call it a party, it's different than getting together with your friends, right? And we know this to be true. So, naturally, the first thing I did was throw a party. And it was the party was what it was. People had a very good time, as I understand it. My parents get back. They walk. I mean, they're not home for more than 2 minutes, man. And me and three of my friends cleaned this place top to bottom. So the one thing about my parents, and it remains true to this day, their home is spotless. Like, if you drop something off of the plate onto the floor might even be cleaner than the plate. You just keep eating. You're fine.
Right.
So they get home. They're home for 2 minutes, and I'm playing like I'm really tired, all this stuff. Hey, guys, how's the trip? And they start telling me, and I see my mother's line of sight kind of changes, right? She's looking over my shoulder, and she's staring at the little mantle above the fireplace. So I glance over, and I'm not sweating it because it's clean. This is how they initially, and then they discovered everything else after this, but they busted me because my mother had these two candles, all right? And they're both in candle holders. And as far as I could tell, they are just tall, white, round candles in these little brass holders. And I swear to God, she was like, why is my candle turned this way? I want to repeat. They're round candles, man. So
why? So, like, the seam was showing on the outside or something?
Bam!
Oh, my God, is she OCD?
Man, I'm telling you.
Oh, my God,
man,
is she OCD?
My mother saw the seam of her candle, and instantly she was like, I would never do that with my candle. I'm like, dude, you're fine. She's like,
wow, that is amazing.
She's like, I would never do it. So now she starts inspecting. Dude, they busted me, and she noticed everything, but the candle seam. So as we're going through this, so now they know I've thrown a party, and I'm still downplaying exactly how crazy the party got. They're pissed. I mean, make no mistake. I already know I'm in trouble, but it's one of those things like, all right, you're in trouble. It's kind of like the cops have pulled me over because I was speeding. Oh, crap. Now they just found my open containers. Oh, crap. They just found the PCP in the glove compartment. I hope they don't find the body in the trunk, right? It's one of, like, I'll accept all this because the worst is yet to come. So now I have to help start them cleaning up, okay? And they are pissed off because they're tired. They've been traveling. I was at their party because her candle seam was showing, and that is my mother to this day. My father turns on the light in the dining room, and this is a place I completely missed. When he turned on the light, it was a white lampshade, and there was clearly a shadow, a big blobby shadow on the inside of this lampshade. So my father pulls the lampshade off, and I knew what it was, okay? So, and it's just one of these awkward, horrible moments. I know what it is. He's looking at the lampshade. He cannot identify what this substance is on the inside of his very expensive lampshade. So he's like, Stephen, what and it's very colorful, is this? And I had to be honest. I'm like, Dad, that is lard. So, listen, the look on his face. Lard. Dude, it was lard. And I knew it was lard. I did not realize the lard was there, but he turned
Why was there lard out?
Okay, that's funny. My father asked a very similar question.
It's not funny. It's a reasonable question.
Very colorful language he was using, but he, too, had an inquiry about why
is there lard in the lampshade.
So I explained the whole story.
Because it get hot, it should be melting.
And honest God, true, I said, look, man, about a year ago, The band was practicing. We were going to walk to Rite Aid after practice. We just wanted to buy something to drink. He's like, uh-huh. And I said, and Tony is always lazy, so he handed us $5 because he refused to walk the block, right, because he was too tired. This made Paul angry. He's like, okay, how's it end up on the lampshade? I'm like, I'm not done. So Paul bought $5 worth of lard just to show Tony the lesson of, hey, get your ass up and walk over there. And $5, by the way, buys a lot of lard. Lard is not very expensive at all. So we've had this lard. My father's like, wait, you bought it last year? I said, yes, we did. Why didn't you just get rid of it? Dad, I don't know, but we've had it, and you can't use that much lard. So the lard showed up at the party, and it ended up in a lot of places. There was like a lard fight. First person to pass out got larded, all this stuff, you know.
Larded.
Dude, it was bad. But somehow, there's this big lump on the inside of the lampshade, man. And I will tell you this, as much trouble as I was in, it put it over the top when they found the lard. And like it's real, because at this point they realized my kid's just stupid, right? Like at this point you're just an idiot. Like you've gone above and beyond, but all I could think, and I got in a lot of trouble, a lot of heat came my way. And all I could think the whole time is they're mad about the lard. There was a pee stain on one of the carpets.
And a candle was turned out.
But they don't know about the kidnapping. So I will listen, that was the same party. So I'm like, man, I will take my lumps for anything they're mad about because they don't know about the felony.
Oh, boy.
It's lard.
Yeah, dude, it was he was not impressed with my explanation.
Which is, if it's done right with fried chicken,
right.
It's fantastic stuff. What were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-OLA. Hold the line, more of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
We return to the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill.
Ryan Castle, Drug and Charge, coming into Sin Spin today, 10 of rock's most politically incorrect songs. That is on the way after emails on our question. What were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? This comes our way over a third woman suing Donald Trump over a non-disclosure agreement. This was not sexual. This was just discrimination and defamation. But either way,
defecation.
If you work for a major celebrity, whether you're a housekeeper, whether you're going to a party, whatever, you're going to probably end up signing a non-disclosure agreement. So
I get it, man. You know, especially if it's somebody who works in your home. Because let's face it, dude, once you get home, I'll bet you, whatever anyone thinks they know about you, when you get home, if it's your personal space, you're just a little different.
Sonic Restaurant in Gulfport, Missouri recently had a sign put up at its drive-thru telling customers that they won't be served if they're hotboxing in their car. A Sinclair television station in Oregon tells employees to not talk to press about the script and the report.
Only because the press is now asking them about it.
Yes, exactly. Our question, what were you told not to do or what not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Mary. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola, Mary.
So when I was about 13, we lived in North Idaho, and my mom brought home a house guest, and this house guest just so happened to be on the America's Most Wanted list.
Oh.
And he stayed with us for a few months. He slept in my bedroom, and he was.
Where did you sleep, Mary? If he was sleeping in your bedroom, where were you, on the couch?
I was in my little sister's room.
Okay.
So this dude that I assume you did not know him before your mom brought him home?
Correct.
And he got your room anyway for a couple of months. What was he like to deal with? I mean, did you resent him? Was he decent? Did he keep to himself?
Oh, the guy was freaking great. He ended up coming to us with a horse. So my mom had to go to the hills of Montana to pick this guy up. And we had never met him before. And she went and rescued him.
Don't you, Mary, in all honesty, don't you think your mom had met him, if you know what I mean, before?
Nope, it was through a family friend who said a friend needed help, and, we're just...
Okay. I just figured they dated. You know what I mean? To give somebody
you pick up a random
room for 2 months and kick my kid out of their bedroom, there'd be more to it than that.
Did the family friend give a reason why they weren't helping their friend?
I'm sorry, what?
Did the family friend ever explain why they were not offering this same friend their own help? Like, why did you guys need to provide the help?
Because he ran a business out of his home, and there was lots of traffic in and out.
I see. So he was feeling the heat, so to speak.
So what was he wanted for, and how did you guys find out that he was one of America's most wanted?
So we definitely saw him on the news pretty regularly while it was happening, because they were obviously searching for him.
Wait. Like, while he's living with you?
Yeah.
So, like, what's your reaction when it's like, hey, Mom, maybe you should know that this dude who's in my room, by the way, is wanted by the authorities?
Or were you told?
We were told. Mama sat us down and said, all right, girls, we're going to have a house guest, and you're not allowed to talk about him. And if you ever let it slip, she actually told us to call him by a different name.
All right. It sounds like your mom was like a part of the felony Underground Railroad or something like, I'll voluntarily help people I don't know that my family members need to hide. That seems a little bit extreme. Was your mom typically on that side of things, or was she a straight-laced person?
She was a straight-laced person. She never smoked a cigarette or a joint or anything in her life.
Yeah, but I've smoked a lot of cigarettes. I've smoked a lot of...
But you never harbored a fugitive.
I've kidnapped someone, but I've never willingly and voluntarily housed a fugitive, man. I mean, that's not straight... Some clean living, for sure, but I don't know if straight and narrow's the word.
Oh, you can't be judgmental.
I mean, I smoke, drink, and occasionally kidnap.
All right, so whatever happened to this guy, Mary? Did they find him? Did they catch him?
Yeah, so he was out on a trail ride at the back of our property, and one of the neighbors, or maybe it was a hunter, I don't know, spotted him and followed him back to the back part of our property and alerted the authorities. So he ended up getting caught and arrested.
Were you home when the authorities showed up for this guy?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay, so what's the situation? You're at home. You have no idea that they're coming. What happens after the first knock on the door? Did they just knock the thing down?
They actually did not knock the thing down. He was out in the garage. I grabbed my sisters, and we went and hid. We weren't trying to get, sucked into all that business.
All right, but what about your mom now? Your mom is basically, she admits the fact that this guy's living to her, I'm sure, when authorities come there. Do you just plead flat ignorance like, yeah, I just kicked my kid out of her bedroom and housed this guy for a while that I'm not dating? Like, how did she pull that off?
I mean, one of the first things you just don't say anything that isn't directly asked.
Oh, okay, all right.
What's your name? Well, my favorite color's red. So, did he give himself up voluntarily, or was there any violence involved with them getting him out of your home?
He pretty much knew he was caught. There was a pretty big team to pick him up, so he went peacefully.
Okay, and did you guys have to go to court during any of this stuff?
Nope. We totally just were like, we had no idea, blah, blah, blah.
So basically your mom got away with housing a fugitive from the law by just pleading ignorance, essentially.
Yep.
Stop snitching for gangs in the city and white people in Idaho.
Right.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, well, I guess you got something in common.
There's everybody. Covers it all. Damn. So a couple of months, this dude, and you were aware the whole time. What was he wanted for something violent, or was it drug related?
It was actually not drug related. He had gotten into it with his ex, and she claimed that he raped her and tried to shoot her. So. And
your mom said, yeah, look, I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to assume innocence before guilt and have this dude stay in my freaking daughter's bedroom in spite of what's being leveled against him. Your mom. Wow, man.
Sorry, rough day. I'm with Miles. You're sure your mom didn't have some kind of relationship with the friend that dropped this guy off? It just seems odd that she's straight-laced and would have a criminal stay in the house.
I'm telling you, Mary,
or may not have raped
Mary,
someone.
You said this guy was he was very attractive in the way that he was just a good person.
Yes.
I'm sure that he was attractive as an adult.
Respectful.
Are you sure that your mom did not sleep with this guy? I know you said your mom was straight-laced, but typically, and this is just...
See, how's the fugitive?
Look, Mary, this is just my typical personal experience. People who never touch a cigarette, people who never have a drink of beer, never smoke a joint, not into pills, absolutely love sex. Their thing goes the other way. Like, their weirdness goes to that more so than... It's kind of like people who are deeply religious and don't do... If you've been with somebody who's going to be a freak, you know what I mean? In that way, because apparently it's game on okay, I guess. You serious? And I'm not trying to talk crap on your mom, because obviously it's your mom.
We're just saying she slept with the fugitive. But in no way
I think Tim might be right.
Is he trying to sound insulting.
I think there's more to this.
You live that straight a lace of life, but then you'll harbor a fugitive for 2 months.
Who potentially raped someone.
And kicks their own daughter out of their bedroom. Like, look, man, my kids are my life, all right? So the last thing you're doing is, yeah, I might kick my daughter out of her room for a night or two, but ultimately, if she wants to stay with me, that's her room. Like, you need to get a hotel room or get the hell out of here, you know? So, unless it's a woman that I'm sleeping with, then I'm like, you know what, honey? A little kid of mine that I love more than anything in the world, sleep on the couch.
Right. Now,
I mean, we had a very open relationship. The sex the night before was breakfast table conversation. If there had been something going on, we all would have known about it.
Okay. All right. Well, you would know.
you know, I guess your mom is going to be on the level with you guys. She sounds like a potential rapist is going to stay here for, you know, next couple of months. Just be cool. Don't talk about him. Call him by a different name.
Call him Rapey McRapeface.
Good God, man. I mean, just of all the charges you could possibly bring, right, potentially against someone. I don't know if he did it or not.
Don't you worry, though.
But while it's out there, like, yeah, man, they can't stay in my house with the kids.
He went to.
I don't have kids. I would let him stay in my house.
He went to rape cure school.
Right.
He doesn't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's just
he's good.
They kicked my kid out of their room, and this guy is wanted for potentially raping someone.
Well, okay, I will admit there was a
Your mom is not straight laced.
This is nowhere close to that, but there was a point in time where these two guys from Detroit owed my uncle a favor, and they came down and they had to paint. They painted our house,
right?
But there was very strict rules about when I was allowed to be around them, what I could do, what I couldn't do.
What was their MO? What? I mean, I know they were some bad
I couldn't be.
But.
Okay, well, normally I could just go home from school and turnkey, you know. But I had to wait until either my mom or my stepfather got home.
If those guys were,
because they were staying at our house.
What were they concerned about? What was it about these guys?
Well, there was a couple things. Number one, they were both they had both spent time. They both done time.
Yeah,
and
but that's half of anyone's family. So that's not it. Why were they doing time?
And the only other concern that I remember was, no matter what, if you see them drinking alcohol, you've got to leave the house and tell somebody. That was. I don't know. I don't know.
Yes, as an adult, you know.
Not really.
If you see them drinking alcohol, leave.
Right, exactly. So those were the kind of the rules that we had that I remember.
How long were they?
Oh, this was great though, man. I remember about a year later, and one of my jobs was to split and stack firewood.
Right.
You know, but normally that takes about a year to cure as far as the load that I had there. So about a year later, I get into this one stack of wood, and there are bottles that are like in there.
Oh, these guys!
I mean, stuffed in there. Like every time I'd go outside to bring in wood to the inside, I'd find like 2 or 3 more bottles. All from this, and then it all kind of clicked in because that was when they were there. They were just sticking them in between the holes in the wood and storing them there. Some of them were half full. So,
did you sip any?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
What were you told not to do or not to talk about? And did you? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Jared. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
So, Guantanamo Bay.
Jared?
Can you get closer to your phone or scream your head off?
Yeah, can you hear me now?
No, well, barely, man. I mean,
yeah, you sound like you're...
Hold on a second.
All right, we're waiting.
No, we'll wait, dude.
Yeah, we had all day. Thank God the show's not live. It's
there we go.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Jared. Welcome to the show.
Mm-hmm.
Guantanamo Bay.
Okay.
1 year.
So what were you told not to do there, Jared?
Those are secrets that I'll die with. Good day, gentlemen.
So that's it.
What's that now?
No, he's gone.
Oh, what did he say?
That's it. He just said, look, basically he did a year in Guantanamo Bay. I assume as a guard, not as a prisoner. The things he saw there, not allowed to talk about it.
Oh, God.
He answered the question,
all right,
and then he hung up.
Okay.
So now we know his deal. He has not talked about it. Damn.
I was like, man, are we dealing with...
talked about it.
Are we dealing with a rough communicator
the
here
dude
or what?
waited on just say, hey.
All right. And I thought those... All right.
No, he literally answered the question.
Yeah, he did.
You're in Guantanamo Bay, the things I saw. Good day, gentlemen.
That doesn't make me feel better.
No. I mean, like...
Because you're right. I have the feeling he was a guard there. Like... Yeah, I'll go to the grave.
You don't want to.
It's not like you've heard good things about Guantanamo Bay. So when someone like, yeah, they're worse than that.
Come down to Cuba, be sonically assaulted. What were you told not to do or not to talk about? And did you? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Dwayne. Welcome to the men's room.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hola.
Hola. So, at my daughter's elementary school, for kindergarten through 6th grade at the Martin Luther King Assembly this year, they called some people's heroes that one is a known cop killer, a rapist, and another one you guys actually mentioned recently on your show was Minister Farrakhan.
All right. One of them could stay with the woman who just
student body of elementary school kids. They called certain individuals heroes, and I've raised a stink about it because I don't believe cop killers and rapists are heroes. And they've told me I'm not allowed to talk about it to any of the other parents.
Yeah, but what can they do to prevent you from I mean, look, schools have rules, but as a parent, your rules do not apply to me. I think that is exceptionally clear. I will talk to who I'd like to speak to.
Oh, I completely agree. They have told me while on school grounds I'm not allowed to talk about it because a few parents were made uncomfortable by the conversation. And it's like, well, I'm still going to talk about it, and I'm still going to hold you accountable for it.
Normally they're just mad because you've yelled at the soccer referee.
So it's been what? You said it was this year, MLK's birthday, I guess?
Yeah, at the MLK assembly, yeah.
All right. And so have you talked to other parents in the months that have passed?
Oh, yeah.
What's the general
tried
sentiment?
to file a complaint with the school board, and they won't talk to me about it.
Okay. All right.
What's the reason they give?
They said it was about racial equality, and I said, well, where's the state-approved materials? And they admit it was a personal decision of the principal and a couple of teachers.
Look, man, I'm for racial equality, but I don't back O.J. Simpson. You feel me? I mean, like,
oh, yeah.
If you're a rapist
Why
and
not?
a murderer, it's like at that point, you're the same S-bag as anybody else. But I do find it shocking they won't even talk to you about it.
The idea.
Well, we have a special relationship.
Uh-oh. Have you raised the stink about other things in the past?
Oh, once or twice.
Such as?
Well,
all right, well, what else have you gotten mad about during your kid's school career?
They lost her 3 times last year in kindergarten and blamed her for it.
They lost
she
her.
got... Hold on.
We're not telling about the time that you got lost.
And then she got 2 different head injuries last year that I asked why wasn't I told about it, and the principal confirmed she got hurt, but then they say it never happened. Just all kinds of crazy stuff.
Is this a public school or a private school?
This is a public school.
I was going to say, no, it's public. Guaranteed it's public, right? Because a private school, they need your money, so they treat you better. I mean, sorry, it's just that easy, man. You pay to play. It's like a politician. If you're like, yeah, but I pay for them to be here, then, well, public schools are like, tough.
Okay, all right. Well, it seems like you didn't raise a stink about things that were not out of question.
If you lose someone's kid 3 times.
It's a 2-home situation for my daughter, so I can't just take her out of the school, and they know it.
Ah, okay.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, though. And it's like, well, it's your kid's fault. It's like, well, look, technically everything is the kid's fault, but because we know they're idiots at that age, no offense to kids, but they're kind of stupid. They don't know a lot. That's why, look, there's a reason why you hire a babysitter. You know what I mean? Like, I think my kids are pretty smart, but I'm still going to have an adult with them if I'm going to be gone for a while because they make bad decisions, man. That's why they do things like draw mustaches on their face with Sharpie. I mean, it's why you find, like, Cheerios under your sofa 12 months after they've eaten. Kids don't make great decisions.
Even
That's
at 17.
why you keep your eye on them.
Even at 18. What were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-OLA.
Hey, there is a certain point that, like, it doesn't make it right, but it's like, it's a teacher. They're children.
Right.
Like they make bad decisions, and they
you
do
know
stuff.
That. They're 5. You know that. I mean, it's like kindergarten. For God's sakes, like, dude, it's all the kids in 8th grade. You're like, no, your son walked off campus. You're like, all right, 14-year-old, that's on you. The kid's 5.
That's the only difference. It's on you.
Right.
Like after that, you still make dumb decisions every once in a while, but now
that's the difference.
It's now you're old enough to know better. It's on you.
Right. It's like when you turn 18, you're still a moron, but just the cops are going to treat you different. Like that thing you got away with last year, it's a little more problematic this year. That's all. Hello, Matt. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola.
Hola.
All right, so what I was told not to do was tell about what happened with my mom when she decided to take me to Walmart when I was sick.
When you were sick?
Yep.
You were told not to talk about what happened to you at Walmart when your mom took you there?
No, before. They brought me there to tell me not to tell that my mom was doing drugs.
Uh-huh. What kind of drugs was she doing?
No, that's her, but it was hard, and they were lighting it from the bottom.
Okay, all right.
It was hard, and they were like you don't know the drug, but it was hard, and they were liking it from the bottom. Is that what you said?
Yep, they had a pipe, and they were cooking it from the bottom, so it was either crack or meth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that breaks it down to 1 to 2. If you're white, I assume it's meth. If you're black, I assume it's crack. That's generally how we play this, right?
All right, so I'm going to say white.
Okay.
All right.
Well, you would know best.
Well, it doesn't sound like she did it when she was pregnant with you.
Oh, no, she did. 100%.
Are you sure?
Huh?
But
Really?
No,
really?
Yeah, no.
Really?
Listening to the, I'm thinking maybe.
Oh, I've heard stories from my sister. I know
we're
the
just
answer.
kidding with you.
All right, so how old were you when she started doing the hard drugs then?
When I first seen it, I was honestly in junior high school, 9th grade, and I was not smart because I spent all day in bed sick, walked in, seen them doing it, walked out, and they took me to Walmart at 1 in the morning to convince me they weren't on drugs.
Oh, I mean to buy, so you could buy stuff so they could get you to shut up? It was a bribe.
Yeah.
At 1 a.m.
No, they didn't bribe me very well, though. They just bought stuff for themselves and called it good.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So to convince you not to talk about them smoking meth, they took you to Walmart to bribe you, but in the end, they just bought crap for themselves. Well, what about your mom now, man? Is she clean? Is she alive? Do you talk to her?
She's alive, not clean, and I talk to her every now and then.
All right. And I
She
guess.
is still my mom.
And do you have any siblings?
Yes.
And do they live
I got
there?
3 brothers. No, we are all out.
So you're good.
Yeah, we found out, and we ran. One's in Alaska, the other's living with my dad, and then I'm out on my own.
Okay. Well, good for you guys, man. And check on your mom every once in a while. Make sure she's all right.
Oh, we poke her with a stick. If she yells, we know she's alive.
Okay. Good.
Okay,
That's love.
it.
That is really
That
love
is
right
family
there.
commitment.
Yes, that's what I do.
Poke
every
her
holiday.
again. I saw her eye twitch.
Just like your stepdad did, you know what I mean? What were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999. Ola, more of your calls coming up. You are listening to the Men's Room Radio Network.
Hola, bitches. You're listening to the Men's Room.
Silicon Rock Castle drunk in charge of being a sin spin today. 10 of rock's most politically incorrect songs. That after emails on our question, what were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-OLA.
Hello, Christopher. Welcome to the Men's Room. Hello, Christopher.
And goodbye.
Goodbye, Christopher. Hello, Pete. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hola, mofolos.
Hola, Pete.
Hey, yeah, Aqueduct. I got some pictures for you, Miles.
You do?
Of the octopus and the sea snake attack.
Okay.
But anyway, what I can't talk about is some of the stuff we learned in SEER school. We signed a non-disclosure. It's the tactics part about how to resist torture and being a POW and stuff.
You said SEAL school, correct?
SEER, S-E-R-E.
And what is SEER school exactly?
It's teaches you how to be a POW or act if you ever are a POW.
Now, was this a class? Was this something you took in the military, or did you take it voluntarily?
It's in the military. You go. It's special operations guys, Air Force, Army, Navy, and Marine Corps, and then like pilots get it. Anybody that could be captured behind enemy lines.
And what was your position where you could be captured?
I was a long-range surveillance guy and a ranger. So long-range surveillance, those are your long-range scouts. They jump in anywhere up to 300 miles behind enemy lines and report to the big commanders, the Corps commanders, on what the enemy is doing.
So you guys are there first?
Basically, yeah.
And you said this particular school/class is how to resist the torture, the torment, etc., should you be caught as a POW.
Absolutely. Like the Gitmo guy that just called in and said, I can't talk about it, bye.
Yeah. Okay, all right.
But basically, we can't talk about what they actually taught us, but
well, of course.
I mean, we got waterboarded. I am 6'3" and about 200 pounds at the time. They stuffed me into a foot locker and left me there for about a half an hour, 45 minutes, and just beat on it and stuff.
All right. I had a buddy who, every once in a while, he would get really, really intoxicated and say certain things. He did go to this one school over the course of 2 or 3 months during the and he was always gone during the summer. Jump school, this school, that school, that school, whatever school. This one school he went to, it was a replica of a German concentration camp, essentially.
Okay, yeah, ours. I'm sorry.
And they all had one opportunity to get out of there. Basically, 1 or 2 opportunities were your only opportunity over a 2 or 3 week period of being kind of tortured the same way. And he was naked throughout most of it. And apparently, I guess it's psychological torture. you were lined up and like it was a female. There were females there, people laughing at you, people pointing at your stuff. I mean, as much as
You know how used to that I am.
Well, me
But
too.
it's
That's what I was
not
going to say. Like,
humiliating.
that would be nothing different than my normal life.
Yeah, but like, whatever.
That's what I told him. I was like, hey, buddy, that's just every time I hook up. But that I didn't realize like the psychological part was just as prevalent as the physical part to all this.
That is absolutely true.
But when you're done with that, then, and you say it's all the heavy psychological stuff, are you worse for wear or better when you get out of the school anyway?
I learned a lot about myself, and I learned a lot about my peers. So that is absolutely better.
Okay.
We laugh about it now. I'll talk to my buddies, and I'll be like, yeah, dude, remember that time we were out in the garden working? And that's one of the things that Miles was talking about, that guy was talking about, was you work in this garden, and I was there in April, and we're in the Uwharrie Forest in North Carolina. But so things are just starting to grow. He stabbed a clump of grass, and he said, hey, Doc, Pete, let's go cook this snake up, man. I got us a snake. And we were starving. We hadn't eaten for 4 days, I think. At least 4 days at that point. I can't remember if that was day 1 or day 2 when we were inside the camp, but he literally thought he had a snake at the end of his pitchfork, and we were going to sneak off to the fire and eat that bit.
And, it was,
and we can laugh about that imaginary snake now.
Because we've
been starved for 4 days.
We cooked a clump of grass. Hey, thanks, man.
Those were
Get it together, Smitty.
I graduated. Yay! What were you told not to do or not to talk about, and did you? 844-999-HOLA. Hold on, more of your calls coming up here in just a couple seconds.
Hola! The shenanigans continue on the Men's Room Radio Network.